Ukraine says a Russian attack on two of its largest cities has left 4 people dead. Officials say the capital of Kyiv and the border city of Kharkiv were the targets of the bombardment. Meanwhile, Moscow says Ukraine staged a retaliatory strike against the Russian city of Belgrade Tuesday. That's the second strike there in as many weeks. For more on the state of the war, we are joined by George Beebe. He's the director of the Grand Strategy at the Quincy Institute and former Russia analyst at the CIA. George, did you see any connection between the increase in Russian activity and the delay in U.S. funding for material to go to Ukraine?
Well, yeah, I think these are connected. I think the Ukrainians very much have their eyes on the U.S. Congress. They're trying to show that despite the failure of their counteroffensive this summer, they can still take the fight to Russia through these long-range strikes. They're also hoping, I think, that the Russians are going to be baited into overreacting, retaliating in a way that highlights Ukraine's victimhood and helps advance their case that they deserve American support. The Russians, on the other hand, are trying to show that, if anything, their capabilities are increasing over time. They're launching larger scale strikes than they have at any time since this invasion started. They're using more precision guided munitions. So the Russians are essentially saying, not only are we not going away, our advantages are increasing over time.
And Ukraine says Tuesday's attack included, and I'll probably butcher this, Kinzhal missiles. They fly at 10 times the speed of sound. Why is Russia using them now, and is there a larger significance to their use?
Well, I think earlier in the war, the Russians were using dumb bombs, things that didn't have precision guidance. The goal of that was largely to force the Ukrainians to use up limited supplies of air defense missiles and artillery. Now the Russians are using increasingly these precision-guided hypersonic missiles that are highly accurate, very difficult to intercept. And that's having increasing effectiveness. I think the Russians are going after munitions depots, aircraft, air defense batteries. That erodes Ukraine's ability over time to contend with Russian military power.
And are these in the Russian stockpile, or is it getting outside help? And is there a limit to the amount of this mayhem that they can cause with these particular kinds of munitions?
No, the Kinzhals are weapons that the Russians produce domestically, and it appears that the rate of production is going up over time. Earlier in the war, the Russians didn't have a lot of these missiles. They husbanded those resources, I think, very carefully, only used them in rare instances. Now they're using them with increasing frequency, and I think that suggests that Russian production of the Kinzhal is increasing over time.
And George, finally, the next month will mark 2 years since Russia's invasion. 2 years, 2 years. So how do you assess the conflict as it stands right now?
Well, on the map, it looks like a stalemate. The lines on the map haven't moved a lot over the last year. But this has really become a war of attrition, and you don't judge progress by looking at the lines on the map. You have to look at things like how many soldiers, how many munitions, how many weapons can each side bring to the battle. By that metric, the Russians are winning, and it doesn't look like that's going to change dramatically over time. I think the longer this war goes on, the more difficult the choices will be that Ukraine and the West face.
George Beebe, Director of Grand Strategy at the Quincy Institute. Thank you so much, George.
You're welcome.